Welcome to the Clear as Mud podcast, and I'm your host, Riveter. And today, Banana and I are going to be discussing. We've got a few updates on some other subjects or topics, I guess, we've covered in the past, and then we've going to, of course, be covering Elon and his bid to save Twitter. So, anyway.
Elon Musk tries to do something else impossible.
It's kind of.
There's one man that can save us all. It's Elon Musk.
It kind of reminds me of like that old show, back in what was it, in the 70s or something? The fuse starts burning. It's like you hear that bump. Was it Mission Impossible? Yeah, the bump.
Oh, Mission Impossible.
Yeah, they made movies of it and spin-offs with what's his name. What's that guy's name? Tom Cruise and whatever. But
yeah, he's the original one too, isn't he?
No, there was a TV show series back in I think the 70s called Mission Impossible.
Holy shit!
It was based. Yeah, those movie franchise was based off of a TV series from the 70s. Yeah, it was. Anyway, so Banana, dude, your first two episodes of Digging Deeper I would say has been met with quite a bit of success.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and you've got over 200 views, I think, on both of them now, and our channel has grown and almost doubled in subscriptions. And you've got an episode coming up Wednesday, and from what you've told me, I don't want to give anything away because we kind of to keep the audience in suspense, whatever. But it sounds like it could really be. It's going to be another banger one. I think it's going to be.
Oh, the third episode coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already advertised on Twitter.
Have you?
The next episode I'm going to be doing is with Chris Woodard,
Okay.
a man who left. All I'm going to say about it is he's a man who left academia to evangelize to furry chat rooms, and how that all took place, and then some is going to be explored in that episode. So it should be interesting to say the least.
So he's.
It can either be very amazing or a complete shit show.
Well, I don't know about
no
shit show. I think it has huge potential for cringe, and if we know anything, YouTube loves really good cringe. And
I don't know. He may actually have something to say of import.
I'm not saying that he's cringy. I'm just saying that our stuff is cringy as a general rule.
Oh, that I could be cringe. Yes. There's possibility for sure.
Oh, we embrace the cringe here. We love the cringe. So
absolutely, wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. So anyway, we've got a lot to unpack today. So I think it probably at this junction, it's probably better to just kind of to dive into this. We've got some updates on a couple of things that we have covered in the past. So we want to cover that, get that out of the way real quick. The first thing that I want to cover, or that we want to discuss, is the Rust movie. Several months ago, we covered that whole incident here on the channel, and we went over the interview that Alec Baldwin did with Mr. Snuffleupagus, George Stephanopoulos.
Oh, George Stephanopoulos.
Yeah, George.
Is he still the Meet the Press host, or is he off? Is that 2000?
Yeah, I don't know. I know his
Sundays with my dad to watch Meet the Press.
Yeah. I'll just say this: where I became exposed to George Stephanopoulos was he was the press secretary for President Clinton at the time, and so I know once he left being press secretary for the President Clinton, he went on to like an ABC, I think it is, or something like that. I know that's where he's at currently. He's affiliated with ABC, I believe it is, because that's where the interview occurred or whatever with, anyway, Alec Baldwin, if you guys go back and look, And if I can remember, I will link it up here in the whatever the corner up here. I'll link to that episode so you guys can go back and look at it. But in the episode or in that interview, he was adamant that he did not put his hand on the trigger, that he kept his finger on the trigger guard because
I would never put my finger on the trigger.
He all this the safety and so forth. Well, anyway, so this is a video. This is from the actual footage the day. This was camera footage from the camera on the day that the incident happened on the set. There's a YouTube channel, and that YouTube channel is called Cop Watch. I'll bring it up here right here. You guys should be able to see it. They've got 331,000 subscribers now. This YouTube channel typically covers like body cam footage of things that are of importance. It can be a cop doing something wrong, or some sort of elected official doing something wrong, or something like that. They are one of these. They're what I guess you would call they're auditors. They're auditors. What they call auditors. I think that I'm.
But not the annoying Facebook ones who they think they're a lawyer and they're like, I know my rights, man.
No, these guys just anyway. But if you can see here on the screen. Not only did they get footage, this particular video here that I'm fixing to show, I'm just going to show a brief little segment of it. It's actually about an hour long, and it's not only is it footage from the actual day of the incident, but also they have body cam footage of the law enforcement officers that showed up, but they also have the interrogation of Alec Baldwin, and they also have the interrogation of the armor and stuff. So
Hannah Gutierrez Reed.
Yeah, and so anyway, the name of the channel is Cop Watch, and so if you're wanting to dig more into that, look up that channel. You can go look at those videos. I just wanted to show this one brief little segment of the video here, because I think this is one of these deals where I think a picture is worth 1,000 words. So let's just watch what happens.
Okay.
There is no audio on this. This is strictly video, but you can see there that's Alec Baldwin, and what you're going to see here in a second is, okay, he drew the.
Look at that.
You can clearly see here that his finger is behind the trigger guard, so it's on the trigger. Because you can see the trigger guard. You can see the trigger going in front of his finger. And I don't really think there's anything else that needs to be said there. Do you, Banana?
There you go. No, I mean it's pretty clear and obvious to me.
Yeah.
Oops.
I think that really kind of goes to show that.
Bang.
Mr. Baldwin was misremembering what happened. And not to throw necessarily any kind of shade or anything. I'll say this.
No, fuck that guy. He's an idiot.
Okay, yes, but
he murdered a lady because he wasn't paying attention and he didn't learn proper gun safety. Not only that, he went on to talk about how guns are bad and shit for years. So fuck him in his face. I mean, I don't disagree with you. What I will say is anybody who has not had extensive firearm safety training, if you haven't familiarize yourself extensively with the firearms that you're going to be handling, your natural instinct when you draw a weapon is your finger is going to instinctively go to that trigger. Apparently, Alec Baldwin's a natural born killer.
Well, no, I don't know about all that or whatever, but I'm just saying this is that's what's going to happen is your finger's naturally going to go there. And I think the smartest thing that Alec Baldwin could have ever done when this incident happened was to remain silent and get hold of his attorney and let his attorneys do the speaking for him and not say a word. ever.
No, he had to do a little
A press junket. Yeah, he did a press
yeah.
loop. Yeah, and he had to go and excuse me. He just had to go out there and just do the thing.
At least he didn't go on the air like Nancy Pelosi and thank her Helena Hutchins for dying.
That we're done.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, at least he didn't go on air and say thank you for your sacrifice like Nancy Pelosi did for George Floyd.
Yeah, well, again, this is sometimes people's stupidity just amazing. I'm trying to get this next thing queued up. I thought I had it queued up at the right place, but evidently I did not. So,
yeah, I had to mute that. That was very.
Yeah, I got it muted now where it shouldn't be being fed. So, are you hearing it? What? Okay. What the? Come on. Oh, shit. Okay. All right. So this this next one that we're going to cover here. Back again several months ago, we covered the Todd Chrisley story, where without a crystal ball or Joy Sparkles, is that her name?
I don't know, Joy something. Katie Joy. Yeah.
Todd came out and kind of said,
because, to be quite honest with you, nobody buys their fuckery.
Yeah. Todd says nobody buys their fuckery, right? Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, he in the last couple of podcasts, he had a couple of different things. He had little segments that he talked about. Then there has not been any more updates on the actual lawsuit itself. It's, I guess, moving along. I know Katie Joy had filed the deadline or whatever was coming up for her to do discovery, which means turn over. She had to turn over documentation. She had to turn over evidence. All this stuff that Todd Chrisley's lawyers were asking for. Communications between Katie Joy and Todd Chrisley's older daughter, and because that's where Katie Joy said she'd got all this information from, was from his daughter that she was reporting and so forth. And anyway, I know that Katie Joy or her attorneys rather filed a I can't remember what it's called, but basically they were asking to not have to turn over this evidence, and that was the last.
Can we not turn over the evidence that would make us guilty in court? Can we just avoid that?
Yeah,
thing?
Because we don't.
Pretty please, Judge.
So anyway, Todd Chrisley had this to say. This was not his most. This was 2 weeks ago on his podcast. So this is what Todd had to say about Katie Joy and what's going on now.
I know that she feels attacked, based off of what our attorneys are telling us, that she feels attacked by this YouTuber that we're not even going to mention the name of because it's just, ugh. That's really all I can say is, ugh. You know that emoji that has the green vile puke coming out? That's kind of how I feel when I mention that name. But, I did want to address that this YouTuber's husband, who basically wanted, someone sent me a comment where he said, please don't refer to these people as celebrities. I thank you for that, because we've never touted ourselves as a celebrity. But what we have touted ourselves with is being employed, which is relatively more than what he can say.
Oh, shit.
He is just a backbiter, just nipping on the heels of the YouTuber that's struggling to stay relevant, that is struggling to pay her bills, and she's worrying about us and our situation.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you need to worry about me and our situation because God's got us. And at the end of the day, I don't dare to say I say that you have.
He said, I don't dare to say. He goes, I say.
Mm-hmm. I love Todd
Oh
Chrisley.
God! Wait till
I
you hear
love
some.
him so much.
Wait till you hear some. He throws some shade up in this shit. I'm not even going to lie.
He is the king of sass. If he's not a gay man,
Oh God! This
I'd
guy.
otherwise be the queen of sass.
Oh you. Oh God!
Ever.
Oh my God!
You're right.
Yes, queen.
You will never be in our shoes, literally or figuratively.
He says.
Why would she be in your shoe? Literally.
He says. He's basically saying, "Bitch, you ain't good enough to even lace up my shoes."
You can. Yeah, you won't ever stand it literally in my shoes.
Exactly.
I mean, I get it, Todd.
Yeah.
Talking shit.
He's basically
Hilarious.
saying, yeah, that they'll never have the wherewithal to.
Or maybe he has some expensive shoes, and he's just like, you'll literally never have these. You see these Dolce and Gabbana suede shoes?
Yeah,
You'll
that's
never have
it.
them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love it though. I love
Yeah.
Todd Chrisley. I love the amount of petty anger.
Todd's like, bitch, you hate me because you ain't me. Jesus.
Hilarious.
Oh, God, he ain't done, though. Hang on.
You'll never be in my shoes, Katie Joy.
Yeah, so let's listen to this.
I've got God on my side.
Listen
Me
to
and
this.
my family, we're coming after you. This Chrisley family, you don't fuck with the Chrisleys.
You know why? You know why?
Because to be quite honest with you, nobody buys their fuckery.
That's right, because nobody buys their fuckery, man.
Nobody buys their fuckery.
Nobody. So listen to what else Todd has to say here.
Okay.
Because people like you are at the bottom of the pond. You maintain the cess in the pool. So, as far as what
He says you maintain
Roast master.
the cess in the pool. Now, hang on a second here. I have to.
Roastmaster Chrisley, shit.
God. So let me get this. Let me get this next segment queued up here.
Okay.
Let's see
Hilarious.
here. Let's see here. What is that? 1740.
Is his wife just sitting there like staring at him? Like that's funny. Because I like to think that she's just sitting there listening, like, mm-hmm. Sipping
She's
the
here's the thing.
Oh, she's sick again, or
No. So no, she's
I
here
thought you were
listening.
about to get all like serious and shit.
She listens to. Well, no. What I was going to say is that she's
She's a he.
no, when Todd and her first got married, her father is a minister, a preacher, and so she came from very religious backgrounds and uprise not uprise, but she was raised in a very religious house. Todd was not.
I can imagine. Yeah.
But that's not to say that he didn't know what religion was or Christianity or whatever. He just, his family was not the most active practitioners.
Sure. We'll be generous.
Yeah, but anyway, he was kind of like me. He was only CEO Baptist, right? Christmas and Easter's only. But anyway, but since their marriage and stuff, he actually talked about this on one of their podcasts. He talks about how he identifies himself as a Christian believer, but he does not necessarily subscribe to one particular denominational doctrinal teachings, and it's more of just loving everybody and treating everybody with respect and dignity and trying to do what you can.
No, he's not. He doesn't treat everyone with respect and dignity. He doesn't treat Katie Joy with respect and dignity. Come on, Todd. Let's be real, Todd. You don't treat everyone with love and respect.
He's well, okay, but he's not a perfect
Turning the other
person.
cheek, are we, huh?
He's not a perfect person. Hey, but even in one of the, I can't remember which one of these podcasts.
It was that part in the New Testament where Jesus said, "Eviscerate your enemies in the field of legal battle."
Yeah,
and take everything they own. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Render unto Caesar, right? Render unto Caesar. So
render under Todd Chrisley. What is Todd Chrisley?
Exactly. right, so let's
Yeah, carry on, sir.
so let's see here what this next I can't remember what this next thing is about.
I love that. I'm a Christian.
Here we go.
I'm non-denominational.
Yeah.
Child as an outlet to garner,
Okay, let me back
not
up. Let me back up a little bit.
insulting.
Yeah.
But when someone is laughing at you, that's different than laughing with you. And, to use your child as an outlet to garner click, not insulting.
Oh, hang on, shit.
But when
Isn't
someone
his
is
whole
laughing
family
at
an
you-
outlet for clicks?
Yeah, his
Chris
yeah.
Lee's show.
yeah, all of
Hey,
his
Speedy Door, hey,
kids.
Nerdy John. Thank you for joining us today, by the way.
All of his family is very social media present.
Yeah, they all have their own empire, little platforms. And
Yes,
stuff.
and they're all have made money off of it. So.
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. They have.
That's different
Yeah.
than laughing with you.
Yeah.
And, to use your child as an outlet.
Okay, now what he's talking about here is Joy or Katie Joy.
Joy?
She has a child that I believe I don't know this for 100% certainty, but I believe she has stated that he does suffer from like I think it's autism, I think maybe or something.
Oh, there you go.
And
Autism spectrum, something like
I
that.
believe so. And she has been accused by her detractors of using her child when the water gets hot around her because of stuff that she's done.
Oh, say like I am a parent to a child with autism. Stop bullying me.
Yes,
Like that?
yes. She uses her
Yeah.
child as a shield.
That's a fun one.
Yeah. And Todd's going to address this.
Okay,
So-
let's hear it.
To garner clicks, to say that your child has all these issues, that he's so ill. And and I'm just asking you as a mother, because you have technically will have raised 6 children.
Yes.
If your child was so severely ill, would you be on the internet all day long, typing and commenting? And
I wouldn't be leaving my child's side if they were severely ill.
okay, well,
So he he goes on to say, and when talking with his wife Julie there, that if you have a child that has got special needs or is sick or whatever, even if your child has a fever, right?
Yeah.
As a parent, your first responsibility is the welfare of that child, right?
Well, I mean, in fairness to Katie Joy, like, what if this is the way that she pays the bills, and takes care of that kid, and pays for all the medical
Okay.
stuff? Like, I mean, even if it's like shitty behavior online, what if this is what's bringing in the dough? It's like,
And I think that it is. I think this is their primary source of income because Todd's already alleged
not excusing her crazy behavior.
Yeah,
Let's have like people in the
but,
comments.
but Todd
Are you saying? Yeah.
But Todd's already stated that her husband is currently unemployed, right? So, but here's the question, right?
What's the question?
So if you have a child that has special needs or what have you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then, and this is the question that Todd puts forth in this in the podcast here. Why would you be getting intoxicated to the point to where it's obviously that you have been in some way incapacitated, right? You're so like if your child because of his
Hi. I'm gonna need your medicine. Okay.
Okay, I understand. What I'm saying is this, and I think I think Todd brings up a valid point.
Sure.
If you have a child that has needs, special needs, or special demands, or things like that, why would you allow yourself to get into an altered state to where you cannot meet those needs? Right?
I don't know. Somebody watching the kid, like, it could be your day off. Like, I don't know. Dealing with an autistic kid is hard, and sometimes they need recreational little, like, relief. I don't know. I don't want to pretend to know what it's like to parent an autistic kid, even if it is Katie Joy and we can, like, dunk on her all day.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of situation seems so hard to me that I wouldn't really judge somebody if on their free time they like smoked a little weed or something. You know,
Well,
if they got like a babysitter.
Sure, and the thing about it is, this could be something that she does at night. I'm like you. I don't know a whole lot about Katie
Yeah,
Joy.
it's like Chris Lee needs to take the shot because he wants to do everything he can to get them riled up, to keep this going, to get clicks from everybody on the internet. Like here we are spreading the good news of Chris Lee. But so I mean, yeah, I get it.
But I guess, as a parent, I'll just say this: as a parent, the one thing that you never want to do is to put yourself. You don't put yourself above your child, I guess is what I'm trying to say, right?
Oh, many do, though. I mean,
many do, and I'll just say, as a parent, it's not something I ever did, nor would I ever do. Now, that's not to say that there were not times that I did not bend the elbow to the point of excess and would get to where I was incapacitated. However, my wife did not. And this may be the case here, where she's had a rough particular day. I mean, writing all these trashy little articles, slanderous articles, which is what she's been accused of. I mean, she's already been sued by, what was her name that sued her?
Toddy Westbrook.
Toddy Westbrook sued her. They settled out of court. Todd Chrisley's suing her. That's a current litigation, and she's got a third lawsuit now against her that we covered not too long, a couple of weeks back, where there is a gentleman who has started who had I don't know what you'd call it.
Didn't they try to get a class action lawsuit going?
Yes, Todd. Yeah, there were several people that did, I guess talk with the attorney stuff. I don't know if they got enough to go class action lawsuit or not. I have not heard any more on that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's fun to make fun of Katie Joy. I just feel a little weird talking about her like as a parent. It just seems
I understand that, but here's the problem with it. But here's what I will counter you on that.
Okay.
She shouldn't be bringing her child up as a shield to protect her from her shitty ass takes.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That's a good point.
Okay, when you bring your
child into it.
You bring your child into it, you brought your child onto the dance floor. The child should have never been brought onto the dance floor, period. She brought the child onto the dance floor. Yeah. So, and it very well be where, like I said, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she's had a particularly rough day. And she has to have a little bit of wine to unwind and to kind of decompress. And her husband may be completely, totally stone cold sober because according to Todd, he's not working anyway, so he should be around the house. If something arises, he should be able to take care of the child, right? Yeah. So,
isn't he like into like Norse mythology and shit, and like does like nature?
He did that video. Remember that we actually defended him on because people were coming after
calling him a Nazi.
Yeah, anti-Semitic shit, right? But it was actually a Nordic.
It's like even though that's a thing. Excuse me, goodness, I'm feeling horrible today. Sorry. Even if that is a thing within like that particular group's ideology,
sure,
it's not. It doesn't mean like there's people that like are into like pagan shit that aren't Nazis. So
that wouldn't be the first symbol that was taken from other. We'll say, for lack of a better word, religions or whatever, that was incorporated and was used to represent ill, right? So, I mean,
that reminds me of a funny story. I saw on Facebook that there's man, I might get in trouble for this. I don't care. I'm going to hear about this later. But there was somebody posted on Facebook that I know that put this long post that was like, hey guys, I just want to come out and say, I believe in Thor and blah 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 blah, and like in Norse mythology, and it's like this is something that's really important to me in spirituality. Yeah. And then under the first comment was somebody that we mutually knew that was like, "You mean like the superhero?" It fucking killed me. It's hilarious.
Well,
Woo. So funny. You know, it's funny. Like the Norse mythology stuff, like some of that stuff was introduced by Catholic monks to get them to believe in Jesus. Like I think Thor was part of that. Like,
I don't know about that. I mean, I
remember hearing like some kind of like history podcast where they said that like Thor, like part of the Norse mythology was made up specifically by the Catholics to try to introduce them to Jesus. But It's just
I
an
don't know.
interesting history
Yeah.
thing. I don't know. Yeah, look into it if you want.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's get into
I'm not a historian. I'm just,
Yeah.
something I heard. So
You're just a talking head on the internet, like
I'm just
me.
shooting the shit,
So,
Yeah.
So let's get right
Okay.
into the heart of the story, or our big story, or whatever that I guess everybody's talking about, right? And that is, Elon Musk bought Twitter.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know, right?
Say that again.
Elon Musk bought Twitter.
My God.
Yeah, so Twitter's going to be taken private. He paid $54.20 a share. That was a 38% premium over the share price before it was revealed that Mr. Musk had been buying up the company's stock.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's something billion, right? 40 billion or something like that?
When it was all said and done, it was $44 billion.
Billion.
$44 billion.
Holy fucking moly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what's funny? You know how I heard about this story?
What's that, man?
My dad loves Elon Musk, and he sent me this tweet, and he's like,
Yeah.
I love Elon, man. No homo. Like, I love him so much.
No.
Because he's making the elite's lives miserable. And he's like, he's the hero we need. We desperately need. You know what? Earlier in the show's history, I got mad at Elon for messing up my money with crypto. Yeah. All is forgiven. If you say free speech, all is forgiven.
And that's the thing. Elon has touted that, what he wants to do is he wants to ensure free speech. He feels that that Twitter had such a grasp on in the social media space that it became vitally important that freedom of speech reign in that space.
It's almost like what they say all the time. The liberal establishment Democrats, the pro-establishment Democrats, are like, it's a threat to our democracy. If one group has control over the public, forum. Yeah. So, that's what's considered true or not.
And that's what they started saying immediately upon the release of the information that Twitter was purchased by Elon. That there's nobody should have this much control over the over this this large of a social media platform. They said
they had their nest egg of public discourse control taken away from them. The literal moment that they no longer had control over public discourse, they're like, we have to censor the platforms. But they've been incommunicado, completely silent since then. Yeah. Whenever it came to Twitter going completely AWOL. Yeah. AWOL. They got their orders. They had multiple talks with the Pentagon and shit like that, and people in the White House. They Jack Dorsey would have to go talk to in Congress and stuff. I mean, anyways, so they were totally fine whenever Twitter was censoring the public of their accord in a very biased way. But as soon as somebody took that away from them, oh no, now we want to censor the internet. Huh.
Well, it's worse than that though, right? Because they actually made this statement. They said that how was it they worded it? Hang on a second. Let me pull up, because I actually may be in
you're good.
The smart ass that I am, right?
Right.
Let me find this tweet. I retweeted it.
Damn, you have more followers than the podcast. Shit.
Well, it's because I've been around longer than the podcast, dude.
What you looking for?
Where's it at here? Let me find it.
Also, guys, if you want to join the Discord and if you have questions for us, you can always hop in the waiting room, and we will drag you up, and we can you can ask us your questions, and we'll answer them. Yeah. I just think it's funny though that I just love that Elon is doing yet another impossible thing. It's so great. I'm so happy that he hasn't been Epsteined yet. They can't. He's one of the most wealthy people on the planet. So, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for this. Okay, here we go. This is it right here.
Okay.
Okay, so let me pull up.
We go.
Let me pull this up here. Okay, so this was a tweet. This is MSNBC, okay? And so let's listen. Oh, shut up, idiot. Listen to what this idiot has to say.
Okay.
You own all of Twitter or Facebook or what have you. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't even have to be transparent. You could secretly ban one party's candidate or all of its candidates, all of its nominees, or you could just secretly turn down the reach of their stuff and turn up the reach of something else, and the rest of us might not.
You mean like what's been happening over the past fucking 5 years?
Oh, it's worth. Let's talk about the Biden laptop.
Oh, is he explaining what's already been happening?
Exactly. I mean, that's what these guys don't realize. I mean,
dishonest political agents can go fuck themselves.
So half of the okay, irregardless if you're a Democrat,
show me a picture of that goblin drinking water. I'm gonna die.
Irrespective if you're liberal or Democrat, irrespective if you're conservative, Republican, right?
Yeah.
Everybody can cite out things and times and places or whatever where they feel like their voice is not being allowed to be heard, right? That their voice is being quashed. That's a problem. That is a problem. It's a huge problem, right?
It was literally quashed by Twitter. Remember the New York Post shadow banning of that article about Hunter Biden?
They didn't shadow. Yes, exactly. They banned the Hunter Biden. They banned the original article.
At first, it was a shadow ban. Then they came out and told everyone what they were doing.
Well,
but at first they didn't tell anyone. They just because I remember I shared the article and then boom, couldn't message anyone, couldn't post anything to Twitter.
Yeah,
for like 24 hours.
Yeah, well, that's because the original article when it was released, I believe it was by the New York Post, was it? I believe.
It's not fake news, guys.
That originally broke the article on the Hunter Biden laptop. They actually locked the New York Post out of their Twitter account, and this was all right before the election. Right?
We live in a society.
Let's not forget. Now you can. I won't get into a debate of semantics with anyone anymore about whether or not Trump called for violence on January 6th or not. I'm not going to get into that debate with anybody. The simple fact
he definitely let it happen, but he didn't act. Yeah, that's a slippery slope right there.
But what you have to keep in mind is they banned a sitting president off of a social media, not just one social media platform, but two. He got banned off of Twitter and Facebook, right? So when you talk about quashing or silencing a particular party's candidates, that was already happening. How many
were they actually afraid he was going to stage a coup, a military coup?
Yes, they were.
Really?
I've talked with people. I've got friends that are Democrats, openly proud.
How did they think he would get away with that?
I don't know, but I guess they felt like he would use his platforms to call for it.
They had. I'm asking those questions, but I know the answer. I just wanted to hear what you said because, I remember because I have I had people in my circle that were dyed-in-the-wool left, hard left, their families are party Democrats, they're card-carrying Democrats.
Yes,
their whole life they've been nothing but eat the narrative Democrats. Those types of people.
Yep.
So, but they had this little mythology that they would talk about, and I'd always get these group texts. God, they're insufferable, and they're quiet now. Interesting. But anyways. So I get these group texts about how Trump was siding with he had the Marine One, and he's gonna get the Marines to stage a coup and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
He had his Secret Service. They had this little mythos, this whole world of things that were gonna happen.
Exactly.
And shockingly they didn't. Yeah. Oh, but that's because Twitter kept him from talking.
Oh
yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if the guy wanted to stage a coup, do you think really needed Twitter to execute that kind of thing? What is he going to do? Order 66, execute Order 66.
It's exactly
all of his little sycophants.
Exactly. He was Emperor Palpatine, man. Order 66.
Oh,
yeah.
They did the same thing with Bush, though. They were like, "Oh, Cheney's pulling the strings." It's Bush is just a useful idiot, and then but and there's some truth there, but but they made him seem like this kind of Emperor Palpatine type nightmare figure that was going to be Hitler.
So. Guys, let me and Banana introduce you to, I believe you say her name is Nina Jankowitz. I don't know how you say that.
I don't know, but she induces nightmares.
Okay.
And I just go with goblin. Kind of goblin creature, some kind of ogre or ogroid.
Yeah.
Fantasy character.
So
a chin. That's a chin that she could go to war with Jeff Huffman over that chin. Good night.
So. She was in this. Okay, so shortly after it was announced that
Karen,
that Elon had bought Twitter, the Department of Homeland Security. Now this could be purely coincidental. I don't know, but this is just the order of how things happen. That's all I'm doing is presenting them in order of things happen.
Zen fascists we were all warned about.
So anyway, the Department of Homeland Security created a disinformation governance. How the hell do you say that word, Banana?
Hold on, let me read that. Disinformation governance. Governance.
No, it's governance.
Disinformation governance board.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And have you read George Orwell?
A long time ago.
You remember the Ministry of Truth?
There you go. That's what this is.
Yeah.
The Ministry of Truth.
Ministry of Truth.
She has a history of promoted the Clinton campaign created Trump dossier, and that has been proven that the Clinton campaign is one that was behind funding and creating this dossier that we spent millions of tax dollars on, U.S. citizen tax dollars.
Oh, and
on.
by the way, since we have a lot,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you real quick, but since we have a lot of new viewers, am I a Trump sycophant, Riveter? Do I like Trump?
No, you do not.
No, and have I gone toe to toe with you on a lot of shit about that stuff?
Yes, we actually got into some pretty heated battles about it. And here's the thing about it, though. I am not a Trump sycophant either.
No, I didn't say you were.
No.
I was just saying, like, we're not like,
We are
this
not.
isn't a MAGA cast.
No, we are not. I would label myself more as a conservative centrist is where I'm at.
Yeah.
I want less government. I want the government out of my back pocket. I want more money in my pocket.
Libertarian.
Yeah, libertarian would be another way to put me. Sure, but
Yeah, but some of them are nutty.
But
Nutty. Chaotic little fuckers.
she waged war on the reporting of Hunter Biden's laptop, which we know has now been confirmed as a factual thing. That's just this woman is the head of that, right? And so let me give you a little example of what our taxpayers' money is paying for right now.
Laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. When Rudy Giuliani shared bad intel from Ukraine, or when TikTok influencers say COVID can cause pain, they're laundering disinfo when we really should take note and not support their lies with our wallet, voice, or vote. Oh, information laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them
All right,
sound
maybe stop. I can't do it
precocious by
anymore.
saying
Turn
them in Congress.
off. No, stop. She's gonna start a genocide. That lady, we need to stop her now. Telling you, that lady right there, that woman is a murderer.
Okay,
she has death in her eyes. I can see it.
And I just want to
No
let you guys.
soul lies behind those pupils.
I just want to let you guys. Yes, guys, this was not a video that she put out prior to being appointed as the head of the whatever the fuck that thing was called. She did this afterwards. She's proud of this shit.
Oh,
she goes, you can just call me the Mary Poppins of disinformation. Bitch, I wish someone would throw a bucket of water on you and watch your ass melt. How about that?
Dude, you remember that Professor Umbridge from Harry Potter? They're starting to put those people in power.
Yes.
And it's like, we should all be scared. Matt Pitt says he can fix her. I don't know. I'm looking for wife number 2, so.
Jesus Christ.
I might sweep her off her feet.
I just
no, not this one. This one's not like this is. I mean, I do look for crazy women, but no, no. Good luck, Matt.
Good luck.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, you shared an article with me, Matt. Or Matt. Shit, you got Matt on my brain. You got both your legs. I should have known it wasn't Matt.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So I
bring
got
up-
this article from
Yeah.
MSN. Former Hawaii rep Tulsi Gabbard suggests that former President Barack Obama is behind the effort to establish a disinformation governance board, which she likens to George Orwell. Biden is just a front man, Gabbard said on Twitter Sunday. Obama tweeted April 21st, social censors don't go far enough, so the government needs to step in and do the job, whistling to the authoritarians. 6 days later, Homeland Security rolls out the Ministry of Truth, aka Disinformation Board. Let's see, there's one more part. Let me find it. Obama said he believes employees at companies are sincere in trying to moderate violent content and hate speech, but argued more needs to be done to help companies limit. Remember? We've played a lot of clips on this show where people in positions very high power, like the Surgeon General, have said more needs to be done by companies to censor the internet or censor, and I'm just saying all these people have like this narrative to whistle to the authorities. It's dog whistle.
Yeah.
But while content moderation can limit the distribution of clearly dangerous content, it doesn't go far enough, Obama said. And this is the dude that like was more than happy to drone strike civilians en masse. I mean, like that's the thing about Obama. People don't realize this guy was like a war hawk dim too. These like party sycophants. They look over all the stuff, all the nasty stuff that these guys do. Like where some of the extensions of the Patriot Act, where they were the surveillance they were doing on people.
Yeah.
Edward Snowden, famously blew the whistle, and then fled the country because he was made a traitor. So. It's like Obama said, if you hear something, say something. And then there's that meme where it's like Edward Snowden goes, did, Now he's public enemy number one. Or not anymore, but, still can't come back to the fucking country. He's in Russia, too. That's the craziest part.
So, anyway, we had representatives, senators weigh in.
People are evil, man.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez put out a tweet.
Another one of those psychopaths. Yeah.
Went from working behind a bar to lowering bar free speech. Says, tired of having collectively stress about what explosion of hate crimes is happening because some billionaire with an ego problem unilaterally controls a massive communication platform and skews it because Tucker Carlson or Peter Thiel, is that how you say it?
Peter Thiel, yeah.
Peter Thiel took him to dinner
Billionaire.
and made him feel special. And Elon responded to AOC and said, "Stop hitting on me. I'm really shy."
It's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
So much.
It's
no homo, Elon. I love him.
Yeah.
Thank God he exists.
So AOC followed up to that original one, says, "I was talking about Zuckerberg, but okay," right? But here's the thing that's interesting. This David Bixby, I don't know who is David Bixby. Let's see here. He's a podcast. So who is this?
Somebody.
Yeah, fucking looks goofy, but whatever.
Okay.
And anyway, she says, like I said, ego problems. Okay, so you weren't talking about him? You were talking about Zuckerberg? Or you were talking about Elon? Which one is it? Okay.
She got roasted.
Yeah, it's stupid ass. God, I swear to God. We have requirements in the U.S. to where a person has to be of a certain age, right? To attain the office of to be a state rep. You have laws where you have to be a certain age to be a senator or a representative, House be a rep. You have to be a certain age to be president, right? Well, I swear to God, we have got to start giving these sons of bitches some damn, what do they call it, to test what their IQ is, because some of these, I don't think they get past the double digits at that.
Honestly, on a serious note, I really might be like, I might swing back conservative more and go get a Republican card, because something about the Zen fascists from the left scare me much more than the conservatives. At least the conservatives are about how what they want to do. They're like, we we don't like the fact that, like, etc. Like they'll straight up tell you, but the liberals are like, no, we want to spread love and positivity. And they have a knife in their hand, and they're ready to stab you to death. Yeah. We have a caller. Did you want to take him?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Bring Nerdy in.
All right. We got Nerdy John. Nerdy John, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey guys, hey.
What's up?
Like, this whole thing with Elon is just it's infuriating. I don't know if you saw It's a Gundam's video on him covering the situation.
I love It's a Gundam. He's so funny.
Did you see that clip he used of the news reporter lady literally literally saying that it's their job to manipulate the information?
Yeah, I saw that.
But I can believe it.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Not in his video, but I saw the clip, yes.
No, they're like, that's the thing about like these fucking party sycophants. It's like on either side, it's like they're okay with all these authoritarian draconian measures if they're the ones that are doing them to silence the opposition.
Yeah, and like you guys earlier in the show, you had to emphasize that because you agreed that Trump shouldn't be off Twitter, you had to emphasize the fact that you guys aren't like sycophant supporters of him. And
it's a brave new world, John. Yeah,
we have to.
I hate that you have to emphasize that now. It's like, because you can agree with some opinions of someone, but not usually like them overall. That was how it used to be with politicians for a while. It's like, I don't really like his stance on this, but his stance on this issue is really better than the other guy, so I'll vote for him on that.
Well, because like if you want to reach people who are dyed-in-the-wool left, you have to play word games a little bit just to even get them, because as you say something remotely positive towards Trump, their brain turns off and they can't listen, they can't hear you. Yeah. And so you like, I don't know, maybe that's not our responsibility. Sure, that's a good argument to make, but at some point we have to actually start trying to reach out to other people that are that have seemingly lost their minds and now are signing on to draconian measures and authoritarian type policies, and they're seemingly okay with it, and we have to go, hey, come back this way, you've lost it. We need to like point out, or they just don't see because they believe their party that much, because after the COVID thing, a lot of people became infantilized as a result of being scared, and so they just watched the newsreel and trusted the government implicitly to tell them what to do, because they no longer felt responsible enough to take care of themselves. They just gave that away to the government. They're like, here you go, you can do it. Because freedom too hard, freedom hard. me don't want to do that no more.
Me brain hurt thinking.
But the problem is when you do that kind of thing, that's when the worst type of people come around and go, okay, so we're going to take away all the things that you enjoy because it's too hard for you to do that yourself.
So I have a question I want to pose to both of you. Okay. Okay. So what, when Elon Musk comes out and he says, listen, I want to ensure that free speech exists in this space, why is that a political statement?
Because the left is interpreting that as, oh, he's going to let racists say whatever they want.
Okay.
Yeah, they think whenever anyone right of completely left said, like anyone not as far left as possible says free speech, they mean saying the N-word without any consequences, or being racist and publicly and stuff like that.
Abba and Preach made a good point in one of their more recent videos about how, because they both clarified that both of them are left leaning, and their views haven't really changed, except the goalpost of what's considered left now has changed to where
the Overton window is shifted, as Ben Shapiro often says.
Yeah, to where the people who, like the modern day leftist, is now saying that people like Abba and Preach, who are, I would say the definition of a progressive leaning person, especially in the 90s, they're now the quote unquote bad conservatives.
Oh, fuck it, I'll say it. The modern progressive left are actual fascists. And
Okay.
the moderate and reasonable left are people who have been ousted from any kind of conversation with the modern radical left. So, like the radical left, they're actual fascists. Like they're people that want to control society and take away freedoms. Like I don't know how else you would paint that.
All right, so I don't know if you, John, do you see the tweet I have pulled up here from Elon?
And I'm a liberal, by the way.
I do see that. I do.
Okay, so let's look at this. So Elon put this out. He said 2008. That's him. He goes, he was left of center. Okay, then 2012 because he says my federal liberals they ran even further left in 2012, right? And so he didn't move, right? But now he's closer towards the center. Why? Because the left ran further into their progressiveness. And here we are in 2021. Now he's right of center. Why? Because they went completely, totally woke to where they're so far left that now he's right of center. He never moved.
But
right?
the reason this keeps amplifying in the deeper contextual explanation here is like not only now is that is a reality, it's not just the left now because there's stupid people on the right too that they're saying they're just going to call me a fascist anyway or a racist and a bigot anyway. I'll just be that. And so now there's a group of actual racist what do you call them, Nazis, alt-right groups that have been popping up and gaining traction because they're just sick of being called that and they're joining in on the movement, I guess.
That's the thing, right? And this is going to bring up some things that is probably triggering to some people.
We're past that point, Jeff.
But I don't if you get triggered, then I don't know what to tell you, but
today's not the show for you. We'll see you next time. We appreciate your viewership.
Yes. As a person who is I fit a certain demographic. I'm old, I'm white, and I'm heterosexual. And I will tell you that for the last probably 12 to 15 years, I have been told that I am single-handedly, and the people who are like me are single-handedly responsible for all of the ill that is going on. We're responsible for all the wars that are going on in the world. We are responsible for the persecution, that blacks suffered. I am responsible for the persecution that the gay and lesbian and transgender people have suffered. I've got news for you. I've never ever mistreated anybody who was black. I never owned anybody who was black. I have never dealt wrongly or treated anybody wrongly who was gay or lesbian or transgendered.
It's red herring.
I understand.
I'm sorry, but you're falling for it.
No.
You don't have to say that.
No. Let me finish my thought, please.
Okay. Sorry.
So I have been told this stuff for 15 years, and here's the problem. When you have people that are told something repeatedly, and you hear the press telling you these things, and not only that, now we have it where they're teaching this type of shit in the schools. That's why we have this growing group of people out here now, sadly, that are becoming the alt-right, the neo-Nazis, as you said, right, Banana?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because they have been told this stuff, right? And so after being told it for so many years, there are people who are like, I'm tired of being labeled this when I'm not this.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to be called
it's
this,
a fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. And so,
but the thing is like, I'm sorry, finish your thought.
Not everybody, here's the thing. Not everybody gives into that. Not everybody says, okay, yeah, all right, fine. If that's what you're going to call me, then that's how I'm going to be, right? There's a few of us out here that look at you and say, well, that's a flagrant lie because I've never done any of these. And I will challenge you to show otherwise. And
to your point, though, the only people I've heard that too, those kinds of accusations, but the only people that have ever said that to me are white.
That's a funny thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean,
and like, because I had this, my I almost made a misstep there. I knew somebody for a while. I'm no longer friends, but they're very privileged. They went to a private school.
Yeah.
They had a wealthy family who bought everything for them, paid for their college, etc. I came from a very poor family. This person, upon meeting me, dressed me down and told me how I had white privilege and etc.
Sure.
And it's like, oh, I had the privilege of growing up poor in a single household.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
do you guys know the political streamer Gothics?
No.
This privileged brat, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
She
No, I don't
she's a black conservative. It's
Oh, you
funny
mean she's an Uncle
because-
Tom?
Oh yeah. She like these are there have been white people calling her an Uncle Tom too. That's the funny thing.
Yes.
That's the weirdest thing. I never understand that, how white people can levy that
It always cracked me up when you have a black person there, and all of a sudden you have some white person steps up and says, no, let me handle this, and starts trying to tell another white person how you are being in some way prejudicial, or you're somehow using your privilege over them or whatever. And the black person is
we
like,
live in a clown world.
Yeah, and they're like, I never said any of this. Why? I don't need you coming to tell me about prejudice. I don't need you to come champion my cause. I don't need this, right?
I would argue that the modern white progressive is way more racist than a modern day white conservative, because they act like black people as a whole is this massive hive mind that must think this singular thing.
Who was it we talked to the other day? Sorry to cut you off, Nerdy John, but somebody told me the other day is that narrative is so infantilizing and robs African American people of their agency.
Oh, there was a story that came out of Florida not long ago.
It's like you think they can't think for themselves, like as people? That's liberals think that African American community can't individually think for themselves.
I don't know if we covered this. I don't know.
Disrespectful narrative. I don't remember.
I don't know if we covered this or not, Banana. But there was the governor out of Florida, DeSantis, is that his name?
Oh, DeSantis.
Ron
DeSantis?
Yes.
Anyway, thanks for the call, Nerdy John. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Of course, man.
You have a good day.
And I don't want to spend too much time on this. I think we've kind of went down a rabbit hole, if you will. But there was an article I read where there was this former pro football player who had started an organization of mentoring, faith-based mentoring and it was focused on primarily young black and boys of color and growing up in a fatherless household. That's what this was created for. And the whole point of this program was it ensured that these young men were getting, learning the math and the science and English and so forth, right? And was also teaching them biblically based principles as far as, as a man, what you're responsible for, what your obligations are.
We might be disagreeing on that stuff.
Okay, well, we're not just
be teaching religion in school.
It's not in school.
Unless it's like a religious course.
This was an after-school program that was...
like a Fellowship of Christian Athletes or whatever?
He created his own thing, but he's a former athlete. He was a former professional football player. And the whole thing was unfortunately, we have a lot of kids these days that are growing up without both parents in the house, right? And so anyway, he was focusing on those who didn't have a father in the house. And that was the emphasis of his organization. And they was teaching them biblical principles about what because he's a Christian. Sure. Well, there was a I don't know what channel she's on, MSNBC or one of the mainstream media channels. This guy was very outspoken against the what is that? What is the big thing that they're really fighting against in schools right now?
Critical race theory.
Critical race theory, and because he said his stance he says telling a minority child that it's okay that you scored you failed this test. It's because you are a minority or you're a black a black kid or whatever. Telling them that it's okay, that's so damning to them, because it's letting them know that failure is okay, that it's acceptable, and because you are a person of color.
Why are you singling people out based on the color of their skin, as if that means anything to how they're going to perform in society?
Yeah.
But they have this idea in their head that they're like, no, we live in the. It's so fucking crazy.
Anyway,
these white guilt people that like think that like we live in a very very subvertly racist society. It's like that because it's repressed. That we like they have to like overcompensate for their unconscious racism, and so they're like, they call a racist, and they like I have to justify it and help, and then they end up doing the very thing that they're trying not to.
Well, this reporter that was calling this out is black. Just for the record, she was a black reporter. And
why does it matter?
It does. I'm just saying for the record, because I'm not
mad at you. Yeah. I'm mad at the fact that has to be like a thing.
Sure. But anyway, because I guess I could take the time and pull it up here and show you guys if I could dig it up right quick. But anyway, she was going off about how this was child abuse. What he was doing to these children were child abuse.
Yes.
And that
is child abuse.
Well, no, she was saying that.
Oh, sorry.
What she was saying was this guy who set up, this former football player who has set up this mentor program. What he is doing is child abuse.
I don't know how.
Well, okay, but again, it's
instilling good values into people. Oh,
yes, yes. So anyway,
this is the problem with talking about this kind of thing, because there's so much. There's so many different like layers of fucked up logic that go into it.
Yep.
That to just explain it on its face, it doesn't really make sense. But to understand what's going on there, it's like you have to understand that, one, the school system, and two, like how some of these people think that have this kind of guilt about society and their place in it, and they have and so to justify treatment, they have this whole this whole series of narratives in their head about how America is. And it's like a fantasy. It really, like, it's so crazy.
And see, and
I mean, sure, like go ahead.
But case to point, to bring this kind of back around to the whole purchase of Twitter and Elon saying he wants free speech to be a thing on Twitter again. Why this is important is because either side, it doesn't matter which side you align yourself to, or that you feel that you more are akin to, you should have the freedom to say what it is that you want to say, and not be worried that your voice is going to be quietened or muted or whatever. You should be allowed to say what you want to say. Now, that means that...
One second. I want to address Nerdy John's comment. Nerdy John says, sorry to get you guys off topic. I think it was a good discussion, though. Nerdy John, you have nothing to be sorry about. Your calls are always great. And we had a good discussion. So don't take away any kind of negative thing there. I hang out because we got to get back to the show. That's all. Yeah.
No, I don't think he necessarily because this goes back to the whole Elon Musk buying Twitter. It really does.
It goes together. It's a really deep problem, like what we're trying to get to the crux of the issue, because so much that goes into why, because you can't just go. The problem with this kind of thing is if you go the other person across the aisle, they're just insane. And it's like there may be some kind of close to insanity there, but you also have to understand you have to put yourself in their inhabit their worldview to understand why they've become so radicalized, and to maybe reach out and talk to them. And it's like, I did call them fascists earlier, but there's a point in saying that is to the weight of that accusation should let you know like how they're like how bad they're acting. It's like, does that make sense? Like I have to use that kind of weight to the words.
The thing,
if you have to be able to call out something like that. whenever people say, so when the Surgeon General says people need to have access to, and it's important that I explain this, otherwise we're going to get misconstrued pretty heavily. So, but when the Surgeon General says people need to have access to truthful information or the correct information, the way that is interpreted is to mean is saying we need to censor the internet so that people only have access to the correct information, what we deem correct. And it's like they do have the trick, the sleight of hand being played there by politicians everywhere, including Obama, including Surgeon General, is that they're acting as if you don't already have access to that information. The internet place that is the most free place for access to information. So if you want to find the correct information, you to go look for it yourself and be responsible. They want to take that away from you and be the responsible party and dictate to you what is the truth. So whenever I say they're dog whistling to the fascists, to the authoritarians, I mean that with all sincerity. I'm not just saying some bullshit. That's what they're saying when they say people need access to truthful information, because they have. I mean, it's there.
But here's the question, though, Banana. What is the truthful information? Whatever.
That is the question.
Yeah.
What the fuck do they mean by truthful information?
And what I would,
and from past we can draw from, we can say, no, they don't have your best interest at heart. They don't want you to have access to information because they take away the truth off their platforms. They censor the truth. They censor New York Post whenever they correctly identify a problem with Hunter Biden before the election to let the American public know what they're fucking voting for.
Yes.
And so, like, you have to draw a distinction between what they're saying and what they actually mean.
So,
and there's evidence there. It's not like I'm just fucking bullshitting.
So the thing we have to be cautious about.
Yeah.
When you have a position created that's the quote unquote truth police, right? That's essentially what this
on the truth. That's the fallacy.
This disinformational governance board, it's the truth committee, right? They are going to deem what is truthful. The problem with something like that, or having a position like that, is that whatever political party is in place, okay, right now it's the Democrats, okay, so they're going to deem what is factual. They're going to deem what's truthful. Okay, so one of the things that I have learned in the 54 years that I have been on this planet is our political theater, if you will, has a big pendulum. And the pendulum, from the time of this country's founding in 1776, the pendulum was kind of like this in the middle. And then what happened is it started moving, started swinging, right? And with each swing, it gets further, right? And the problem is, so now we've swung to the left, right? So now the pendulum is over here. So what's going to happen, guys, and you mark my words, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be the midterm elections, which will come up here in November, right?
I'm going to send you a DM. This is a very important article for you to reference.
Okay. If it's going to be a deal where it's going to be in 2024, which will be the national election, when we'll elect another president of the United States. But sometime in that frame, either this year or in 2 more years, that pendulum is going to swing to the right. But this time, the pendulum is going to more than likely swing a little bit further right. Well, what does that mean, right? So if you're not someone who follows politics, what does that mean? What that means is that the right, or the conservative side of our political spectrum, is going to gain more seats in both the House and in the Senate. So Congress as a whole is going to go more conservative or Republican, right?
Right.
And then you're going to have a president that is going to be seated that is also going to be a conservative president. So then you're going to have the Republicans controlling the House and the Senate. Like right now, the Democrats control the House and the Senate. They have a 51%
All the
majority.
hateful people you just radicalized with your self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Lo
And
behold.
if you don't believe me, here's a website that Banana sent me. I'll get out here in a second. This is from 2014,
Pew.
but it shows you how it grows, right? You have a medium, and then the problem is that
Skews out.
it skews out. It gets further and further, right? Because the
polarization,
political parties are going further and further apart, right? So you have the left that's running further and further left, right? And they're becoming what they call the progressives, right? And then you have the right, or the conservatives, that's becoming now, and then you have more and more running further right. Right?
Oh, right. Like Nick, what's that guy's name? Nick Rekieta or whatever?
No,
not Rekieta. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes.
That was a horrible mess up. I apologize, Nick Rekieta. Did not mean to
slander you.
Did
not mean to slander you in such a way.
No, I did not mean to slander you. I apologize, sir.
Nick Fuentes, I think, he had to create his own platform because he has actually been kicked off every stinking platform that exists out there, I think.
Yeah.
And I watched a debate between him and some other dude, and
God damn, what's his name?
Medicare?
Jim.
Medicare,
Mr.
right?
Medicare, yeah.
Yeah. All I heard was just some of the most vilest, racist, homophobic stuff from...
Unironically, too.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, it was vile, right?
Yeah.
And I was hoping to hear some sort of actual exchange of ideas and a debate. But after about 10 to 15 minutes of listening to this garbage, I did what any normal person would do. I exited it. I didn't want to hear it. Now, does that mean that kind of talk and that kind of speech and language shouldn't be used? No, not at all. Just means I didn't want to hear it. But they 100% should have the right to say that crap. I just don't want to hear it. So
you know what the sad thing is too?
Yeah.
It's like the reason that we're so vehemently against this this kind of, because I've mentioned in the past before that the problem with misinformation is actually a pretty big one, and we have no solution to that problem.
No.
To the giving authority to certain news claims and having people understand, having people be able to discern what's truthful or not. So that's a legitimate huge problem with the internet. We have no solution for. The problem is, it would be a more helpful to sort out if we didn't have people in office who are so obviously inclined to wage war against their political opposition by censorship. So it's not the fact that it's one party or the other. It's the fact that people are trying to control narratives and call them truth in things that are truthful that are harmful to their political, rat race. They're deemed unnecessary or unnewsworthy. And that's not good. You need to have a good understanding of the environment to which you live in, especially the political one, if you're going to make choices as a citizen. So it's like, critical thought is important. We can't have it if we don't have a free internet, right?
I've always told people, who you decide to vote on, or who you decide to vote for, whatever, is between you and yourself. That's it, right? But what I've always encouraged people to do is this: don't go in there and vote a party because, my grandpa always voted Republican and my daddy voted Republican, and so by God, I'm going to vote Republican too. Don't do that. Or on the flip side of it, don't do it because your granddad and your dad and always voted Democrat. Don't do that either. Take a real hard look at whoever's running for the position. Go out and try to get as much information, and don't go. So, like, for example, if you're a more, say, conservative person, don't go and read at The Blaze, and don't go to Fox News or places like that.
to your point, I really don't even know where to get a proper scholarly news. I mean, other than like, I don't know, podcasts really.
Well,
because people who are like are experts in that field, like or journalists, like that don't seem to have a political motive, like Glenn Greenwald, Douglas Murray, people like that, like people I know that, or I have assurances that they can be honest about things. I go for them for like news.
My own personal preference is this is. If they are an incumbent, you can go out and you can look at what their voting records are. Show how many times they actually showed up to damn vote. That's the first thing. If they didn't even show up to vote on shit, then get their asses out of there because they ain't even doing their damn jobs to begin with, right?
Oh, they just checked like present or whatever.
Check present, yeah, because they didn't.
And
here's
vote. The other thing that's worrying as well. It's like the other thing that because I'm so jaded and disillusioned at this point. There are like billionaires. In members of Congress who actually would want a nuclear standoff with Russia because it would help they'd be more than the ashes.
Sure.
And there are people unironically rooting for that kind of thing. They're like, oh, put a no-fly. Like it's like Tim Dillon said. This is just such a good point by him, and I think it's worth repeating. He's like, the people that are like rooting for them to put a no-fly zone over Ukraine. It's like, do you know what you're rooting for there?
Nuclear war.
That is a military act.
That's right. You're declaring an open act of military hostilities towards the country of Russia.
Towards Russia. Yeah.
That's exactly what you're doing. But if they're not elected, if they're not in a current elected position, where I go for information, honestly, is I go to foreign press and try to dig as much as I can on them. Because sadly, I can go to to the BBC. I can go to Canada Press. I can go to
Canada.
I go to Canada Press. I can go to Australian.
How's Terry doing, by the way?
Terry's doing really well. He's
not under a complete tyranny yet.
No, I asked him the other day. I was talking to him. I've got like 3 or 4 buddies up there in Canada. And I was asking him the other day. I said, what is your condition of living now? As far as what protocols
are you okay?
Yeah, what protocol? Yeah. Blink 3 times if you need to be saved from Trudeau.
SOS.
Anyway, so one of my buddies that I talked to, he was a over-the-road truck driver for a while, and he came down in the States delivering, make delivery stuff, and he said, Riv, I tell you, man. He said, if I could move down south, and for God forsaken why, I don't know, but he wanted to move down to South Texas. He goes, if I could move down to South Texas, he said, I would in a heartbeat. Move his family, his wife, his kids, everybody.
I'll give him a gun as first president for becoming a Texan.
You wouldn't have to. I think he would. He'd probably stop.
Welcome to Texas. Here's the AR-15.
I think the minute he crossed into Arizona or into Montana, he probably stopped at the first store he could and buy one.
Attaboy.
So and then I was talking to the other couple of buddies, and they said, he said honestly, they said we don't know. We really don't know because he said they have these different color codes and stuff, and he said all I can tell you is we are able to go grocery shopping, we're able to associate with people and stuff, friends and whatever. They just have to be. It has to be like in an outdoor setting if it's over a certain size of gathering. He works in Tara actually works in a factory where they make packaging and stuff for food products, right? So imagine having to work in a factory where it's hot and nasty and all that, and will have to wear a mask.
I can imagine.
He has to wear a mask.
Yeah. Oh, ugh.
Yeah, he has to do that. So that sucks. He hates that. I've got another buddy who is a chef. He works in a restaurant. He's a chef and trained. He's a trained chef. He has to wear a mask when he's cooking. Now imagine being back in a hot ass
nasty. So hot.
Yes, and he's having to wear a mask.
Can't breathe.
That'd be absolute balls to me.
That's what not for nothing. When the mask mandates went up here in the States, I was like, so like what during the summer in Texas, they're gonna have people on construction sites wearing masks.
Yes.
Are you out of your mind?
Nope.
People are going to die.
Yep.
Like if you know how hot it gets here.
It gets hot.
And Oh, it gets motherfucking hot.
I've been out in West Texas in July. I know how hot it can get.
It's brutal.
It
sir.
will bake your ass in about 0 seconds flat. And
With the mask on, good God bless America.
But they are. He said that that the grasp, I guess, if you will, is loosening a little bit. They're being more relaxed on what they're allowing the citizens of Canada to do, and that's great stuff.
Terry needs to convince the citizenry to put up a front that like they're going to re-vote for Trudeau. Be like, yeah, we'll vote you back in. And then as soon as election time comes around, they all secretly vote for the other guy.
Yeah,
get him out of there. God, I think doesn't Terry like Trudeau though? I don't know.
Nah, now. Oh no, he doesn't. Terry's not really a political person. As far as he doesn't really follow politics, but he's if you had to put a label on him, he's probably more liberal than he is conservative.
For the new viewers, Terry has been a co-host on the show before and is a friend Riveter.
He's been on a couple of times and stuff, and he's been on the show a few times and talked about things. And when we discuss things that are going on in Canada, I'll bring him on the show to give because I feel like having someone that's actually in the shit going through it is a lot more knowledgeable than my dumb ass sitting here in Arkansas. Because what the hell do I know? Reading an article, right? So
he lives there, so he lives there. He's our correspondent. He's a Canadian correspondent.
Exactly. I try to, and just like if we get stories that are happening over in the UK and stuff, I try to do my best to get Nixie to come on. We just haven't had anything going on.
Joey's a friend of mine.
Yeah, we just haven't had anything.
Have you ever talked to Joey?
I don't think so.
He used to be in the poker. Whenever the poker server is still active, he used to play all the time.
Okay,
he's a good guy.
Okay,
you Joey, if you're out there.
Yeah, but we do. We try to bring in people that's living it to give so we have that that type of information there that we can share with you guys. So, so Nerdy John says you guys better make the 69th episode a spicy one. I can tell you right
about Amaranth again or something.
I can tell you right now, Nerdy, we will not be talking about mayonnaise, you little fetish freak. So don't worry about it.
Mayonnaise. That conversation is by mayonnaise.
Well, it seems the other night it came out on a Dead on Dave stream over on Twitch that Nerdy John, I don't know if
here he is right here. Let's pull him up.
Is he?
All right, Nerdy John, explain yourself. What is the mayonnaise? What I need to know. I'm about to bully you, so be careful here.
The serious thing is, Riveter, it is senile old man mind for some reason came on to the stream. I don't even think this was a YouTube stream. This is while Dave was on Twitch, and he's saying I jack off into mayonnaise jars for some fucking reason.
Dave said that?
No. Riveter said I jacked off.
Into mayonnaise jars.
Yeah.
Riveter, would you tell such a fib?
No, I would not. Never.
No. Okay.
What it was is I had reached out to Nerdy a couple of times and tried to initiate a phone call with him the other night because I was wanting to talk to him about something, and he ignored my phone calls, and I just can't have that. And
so you're blasting him on Twitter.
So he was.
Typical angry ex.
So he was on Dave's stream the other night, and I hopped in and whatever, and I kind of put him on blast a little bit, and said he has this fetish. He's kind of like Bo Blacks. He has this fetish about mayonnaise, and it just kind of went downhill from there. So.
Oh boy.
But no, I was just bullshitting. Nerdy doesn't really he doesn't really have a fetish for mayonnaise that we know of.
I don't know. I keep mayonnaise away from this guy from now on.
It's unconfirmed at this point, is all I can say.
Yeah.
It's unconfirmed.
Unconfirmed reports.
Unconfirmed reports. So, like I said, I'm not for sure exactly what his. But no, I was just kind of messing with Banana and with Nerdy.
Yeah.
I keep mixing you two up. I don't know. God, maybe I do have the Biden disease. Jesus, well.
You're losing it.
But
got the Biden gaffes and goose.
Well, I think it's because you guys are your guys are a lot alike.
Are we?
Yeah, I think you and Banana are a lot alike. I really do. You're both young, and so
We both have glasses.
both have.
Yeah.
The only difference is
Therefore, we're exactly the same.
yeah, but the only difference is Nerdy still has all of his hair, so he has that up.
Oh, that's just me.
Oh,
But-
I'm losing.
but-
it. I am
Ouch.
slowly losing
But-
my hair. Why do
my
you-
heart.
But hang on, Banana. The boy can't
I've
grow a
been
beard to
stabbed.
save his life.
Oh,
The
okay.
first time I seen Nerdy, he had this shit on his face that looked like he shaved his pubes and tried to like glue it up there and shit. It was nasty looking.
What the fuck?
I was like,
Shit,
God,
I transfer. I'd take the shitty beard over. I'd love to have head hair.
Yeah.
You kidding me? Shit.
Don't play off like you did. You did that beard was atrocious.
I could grow a skullet for the shit. Yeah, and I could rock a skullet for my
Hey,
That'd be
someone has to pull off the homeless look, okay?
or a bald. That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
me.
It's
All right.
me and the quartering, okay? We have
Exactly. All right.
There you go.
So I'm
We're
ready
running
to get
into my
out of
nap
here,
time.
man. I'm ready to get out of
Yeah.
here. So
I
I think
eat some
we.
food and sleep.
I think I busted on Nerdy enough this week. So, by the way, guys, if you haven't, if you're not subbed to Nerdy John, check him out. He's actually making some really good content.
Bangers.
I don't know about bangers, but they're getting there. And
oh man.
I'm just messing with you. He's
Trying to sell voice content.
Nerdy has some really good videos he's made, and he does a really good job on Wednesday nights producing Dead on Dave's podcast that he has on YouTube, where it's Willie Wednesdays. Willie Mack comes on Wednesdays, and they discuss stuff that's going on out there on YouTube, drama and yucks and things like that. Nerdy John produces that show on Wednesday nights. Check him out there. You can find him on the Twitters. I think he even has.
Plug all your stuff in there, John, real quick.
Yeah, put all your stuff. Put all your stuff in chat there, Nerdy. I think
Say it too. Just
Oh
say
yeah,
your links.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and say all your stuff.
Just click on my my username in the chat there, Nerdy John. Just go ahead and subscribe, and thank you.
How many subs are you up to now? I know you're pushing 900.
Let's see. I am at 850.
Okay.
Damn.
I am 150 subs away from my year-end goal.
Congrats, dude.
You know, the thing of it is when I found Nerdy, and God, I don't even know how I found the little bastard, but when I found Nerdy, the dude was like sub 400 subs. And that was maybe, was it like a month or so ago, maybe? Or has it been 2 months, Nerdy, that you and I have been talking?
Pretty close to 2 months. I found you guys from Matt Pitt retweeting your live stream.
Okay. Well, thanks, Matt Pitt.
Yeah, thank you, Matt.
But I can't. Now I want to think you came in on you. For some
Let's get
reason,
us
one
out of
of-
here.
Yeah, one
Gotta
of your
get dinner.
videos came on my feed one time, and I don't remember how it was. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But
I'm hungry and I'm getting cranky.
did you need your baba and your diaper changed?
I will become an infant if I don't get.
All right. Well, listen, guys. Make sure to be here Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Right, Central Standard, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yes. Oh yeah. Wednesday, 8 p.m. I'm interviewing Chris Woodard, a man who left academia to evangelize on the internet. It should be a very interesting story. I'm excited to talk about it. I haven't talked to him one bit yet. It's going to be our first conversation. Is going to be on the podcast. So I've had DMs with him, but you know what I mean? Like I haven't had a voice call with him. So it should be interesting. I want to keep it that way because I think it'll be compelling.
Yeah.
So
make sure you be there, guys. I have thoroughly
be
enjoyed.
square.
I try to. Sometimes they go a little bit late, and this old man has to go to bed. But every one of them is. I always follow up and watch the rest of it later on. Like I say, the first two were just absolute, just gold mines of getting to know both Matt and AC and all that. So anyway, if you haven't checked those out, check out the channel. They're there. And I say, check out Nerdy John. And on that note, guys, remember, keep your powder dry, and we'll see you in the funny papers.